Thanks so much for being with us here on Atlanta News First Plus. I'm Joy Limnackern here with Brooks Baptiste, and it's time for our segment called In Case You Missed It.
Hey, good morning to you, Joy. All right,
Good
so we've
morning.
got a couple of stories that we have got to talk about. This first one being something that is just quite interesting. So let's begin with a question. Do you eat Spam?
No, I don't. Nope.
Have you had it before?
I have had it before.
Okay.
I'm now vegan, but even when I wasn't vegan, I did not like Spam.
Sometimes I forget that vegan thing. I'm sorry, Joy. I don't mean to just throw these questions at you without.
I used to eat things like that, and Spam was not, even when I was a meat eater.
Okay, so supposedly, this is a mystery beat that some people, for whatever reason, just can't seem to get enough of. That's not my problem. I'm like you, Joy. I would never even touch it if I could avoid it. And I haven't touched it either. Well, there's one man who now has become an ultimate Spam lover. And this is why, because his love for Spam went viral when he tried to bring a case of it through the TSA. So we all know that once you're going through TSA, there are certain things you can bring with you, other things that you probably shouldn't try to touch. But this man in particular decided to try to take it through a case of it, I should say, through an airport. And he got stopped at TSA, was a little concerned about how he was going to explain to the agents there of why he was so, stuck on having this
guys,
stuff.
I thought, it was a good bounce back for us
But then
today.
it was quite
I
funny
brought these-
because he ended up putting this out on TikTok, and unfortunately on TikTok, or I should say fortunately for him, he's got millions of views. So he's quite excited just to be able to see that here he is being a Spam enthusiast, yet, bottom line is he's just out here and he has now been noticed by the food company of Spam, and
Oh,
they've
my
decided
goodness.
to send him some extra his way. So that's how you know you're a pro. When you get noticed by the company and then the company actually sends you a case of it,
Oh,
that
yeah.
means you're a super fan, right, Joy?
Definitely, Brooks. I apologize. I cannot find that Spam video. I was
Oh
trying to
no!
find your Spam video.
Well, most people know what it looks like,
I think
probably.
they
So I
do.
don't know if you need to see it up close because he is in there in the kitchen cooking it and whatnot. I think we might be able to do without it, my
But
friend.
you know what's interesting, though? I mean, you judge, but then it's actually, in some cultures, it's popular. It's popular actually in Hawaii.
Okay, so can I say that?
Yeah.
Because and I love how Maria is over here. Who you guys always see Maria, one of our anchors here. But she's from Hawaii, so she knows how this is. And when my sister and brother-in-law, they lived there because he was stationed in the military there.
Yeah.
I remember coming over and she said, you down to have Spam? I said, no. And she was like, well, that's a huge thing here when I went to visit. And I'm like, what? So, yeah.
And even in the Philippines, where my family is from, it's actually a big thing. But I mean, among certain people, because of the
Yeah.
military background, that was, during war times, there wasn't access
That's
to just.
true.
It's not like you can go and order a steak somewhere or whatever,
Right.
or fresh vegetables for
Yeah.
whatever the case is. But you're eating canned foods, and so that was the kind of the history of Spam. So I mean, there's a whole thing there. And luckily now they do make vegan Spam for those who would want it, but that's not me.
I was gonna say, Joy, there you go. They've got a little something for you. All right, my friend. Okay, another one that we have to talk about is an issue that we've seen here in the city of Atlanta, talking about drag racing, because right now law enforcement seems to be stepping up on its crackdown efforts. For years we've seen videos like these that you're watching right here showing you how these cars have been shutting down roads, basically causing this chaotic scene and whatnot, and then taking off from police, trying not to get locked up, right? Well, Atlanta police have taken 7 people into custody over just the past couple of weeks related to street racing, and police have also impounded a couple of the cars involved in this activity. We can even tell you that an arrest warrant is out for a man that raced around in a white Corvette at an intersection near Ponce City Market over Memorial Day weekend.
Wow.
But when we heard from Atlanta police, their main thing was they're going to continue to search for this man whose name is Mr. Edmonds, Darius Edmonds, for that incident that occurred at Glen Iris and North Avenue. But bottom line is Atlanta police adding to their report something that you might not even think of. Because my question, Joy, has always been, how do these folks, a part of the street racing, know where to meet up? There's a lot of people. So I doubt there's a big group text message that's being sent out. I don't know. But
know.
that's the last thing I'm thinking. But I say, is there a Facebook group? Is there something out there? Well,
That is a good question. There's got to be something.
but here's what's interesting. Atlanta police say if you are found out, posting to your Facebook or posting to your Instagram or social media in any way saying that, hey, come on out, you're inviting people to these events, that's considered a misdemeanor. So that could mean up to a year in prison and perhaps a $5,000 fine.
And you know what? The thing is, it's like, as we work in news, we're adults.
Of course.
We know it's dangerous. But then I love Fast and Furious. I just love.
Well, I know, because that's a movie, and that's where it needs to stay as a movie. We don't need to have that, tearing up the roads and whatnot and putting all the skid marks and stuff, which we've seen that has happened in several intersections in Atlanta. So hopefully people will heed that warning from police, and bottom line, don't get caught up with it because it could land you a spot behind bars.
And it is dangerous.
Of course.
Like you said, that's one thing. In Fast and Furious, that's a movie.
Right.
But,
Let's keep it that way.
That's right. All right. Well, thank you so much, Brooks Baptiste.
Thank you, Joy.
And not to mention, here's another thing that will make you think twice about it. Let's talk about speed cameras, because that's a whole thing. So that's another thing you need to think about if you're even looking at street racing. But we have an investigation now into speed detection cameras and a study that actually claims that they make our roads safer. Atlanta News First investigative reporter Andy Parati discovered there may actually be a conflict of interest.
When I asked the city of South Fulton for proof that its camera systems were working, it provided me with a traffic study showing a dramatic drop in speeding. But we uncovered that traffic study isn't conducted by the city, but a private camera company that stands to financially benefit by sticking around.
This is how the citations come.
George Worrell opens letter after letter.
So this is $150. This is from 2022. I just opened it.
Citations for speeding in the city of South Fulton.
Like if I dug through all of this, I promise you I probably could find like 15, 20 more of these. I would say I've gotten at least maybe 40.
40?
40.
The tickets aren't from South Fulton's police department, but a private company called Blue Line Solutions, based hundreds of miles away in Tennessee, which operates these speed detection cameras in the city's school zones.
And before you know it, you're caught.
Since 2019, he's paid thousands of dollars in camera citations, civil penalties which do not impact drivers' licenses or insurance. The local pastor and father of two confesses he's likely guilty of speeding for some, but not all.
I understand the balance of children's safety, but I believe we got to find like an equilibrium or a symmetry with child safety and not exploiting tax-paying citizens.
According to city records, South Fulton drivers pay $21 million in camera fines, more than any municipality in the state. The city's contract with Blue Line shows the company receives 35%. According to that math, the camera operator collected $7 million. Atlanta News First investigates asked Blue Line about our analysis, but it did not respond.
Hey, how you doing, sir?
How's it going? Good.
Keith Meadows is the city's police chief who advocated for the cameras. He points to this traffic study that shows since the cameras were installed in 2019, the number of speeding vehicles in school zones has dropped more than 90%. While citations have decreased, the city still collects on average hundreds of thousands of dollars in citation revenue a month.
But at the end of the day, we believe that it's resulted in our school zones being a much safer place.
Who conducted the traffic study showing the dramatic drop in speeding? Blue Line Solutions. No one accuses it of altering numbers, but Blue Line is the same camera company that stands to financially benefit by continuing to operate in this city.
Is that appropriate? Should the city be doing its own traffic study?
I don't have an issue with the city doing our own study, but at the end of the day, LiDAR has been determined to be the most effective technology that exists when it comes to speeding.
Technology that isn't foolproof, like the city of Jonesboro, which works with RedSpeed, another camera operator. It refunded drivers $76,000 after the camera issued tickets for the wrong speed limit. Barrow County officials refunded drivers $721,000 after posting a school zone speed limit sign in the wrong location. And Blue Line Solutions now faces a class action lawsuit alleging it collects unauthorized revenue and excessive processing fees. Blue Line filed a motion to dismiss the lawsuit, claiming the litigation should be focused on municipalities that employ it to enforce traffic laws.
It's a cash cow.
State Representative Dewey McClain supports banning the cameras or reforming the 2018 law that gives cities the authority to use the cameras.
So we as legislators got to do a better job. We need to regulate this to say exactly when and why and how.
When lawmakers approved the legislation, McCain says it was pitched to protect children. According to the National Highway Safety Administration, pedestrian fatalities in Georgia have steadily increased since the cameras were installed. The number of school-aged children deaths nearly unchanged. Since lawmakers approved the cameras, Atlanta News First Investigates uncovered Georgia municipalities have collected more than $112 million in revenue from the cameras.
Yes, I voted for it.
Hook, line, and sinker.
Hook, line, and sinker. Now, 5 years later, after I look at the data and statistics and things of that nature, I wonder.
I've heard some state legislators talk about getting rid of the school cameras. Well, what's the alternative?
Hiring police officers and
16 police officers in every school zones. Then the narrative is going to be they're running speed traps in South Fulton.
well, they're already saying that now with the cameras.
Right.
All three of my vehicles have been affected by these speed trap citations.
Private industry enforcing the law on behalf of police, some believe is too heavy-handed.
Now we're at a point now the people, the citizens, are like, okay, this is enough.
Some state lawmakers tried to ban the cameras earlier this year through legislation, but it failed to pass. The city has purchased all sorts of things with its millions of dollars in camera citation revenue, everything from uniforms, tasers, and even an armored vehicle. We asked the city's police chief about these purchases, and he answered in an extended interview that we posted in this story on AtlantaNewsFirst.com. In South Fulton, Andy Parati, Atlanta News First investigates.
Thanks so much to Andy Parati for that report.
When I asked the city of South Fulton for...
And as he mentioned, we do have that story on AtlantaNewsFirst.com. Okay, let's talk about our Dream Home giveaway. And here's a look at the St. Jude campus where, you know, they're dedicated to helping children with childhood cancer. To help raise money for this, we have our St. Jude Dream Home giveaway. And look at this beautiful home. This is in Cumming, Georgia. It's valued at $675,000. It is brand new. And if you think that nobody ever wins these things, you are absolutely wrong about that. Atlanta News First Tracy Hutchins caught up with last year's Dream Home winner who stepped into her new home for just under $100.
Hello. Oh, it's beautiful.
Dixie Smith and her husband Cleveland could not believe it. She won the 2023 St. Jude Dream Home.
Welcome to your new home.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. It's more beautiful than the pictures. This is amazing. So this is a kitchen, Dixie and Cleveland, that y'all could really entertain in. You know what I mean? Upgraded Bosch appliances everywhere. You can stay in your bed and start the oven.
Wow,
start
that sounds great.
Dixie says she's been watching the virtual tour of the St. Jude Dream Home again and again.
How different does it seem now being in it?
It seems bigger being in it, and I guess it seems more real.
And on the walls of this dream home, a reminder of who it's all for, the children of St. Jude.
It's a wonderful organization, that's for sure. That's for sure.
Would you like to head upstairs?
Oh, I'm ready.
And the showstoppers for Dixie, the primary suite and bathroom.
Wow. Oh my goodness. Wow.
It's just amazing.
Wow. Awesome.
Dixie is a Make-A-Wish volunteer That's why she's been supporting St. Jude Dream Homes across the Southeast for nearly 20 years.
So when they started doing the Dream Home in Tupelo, I thought it was just amazing. So of course I started entering, and then I started doing it like for 4 different towns in the Southeast, just as a fun game to do. I never thought I'd really win.
Tracy Hutchins, Atlanta News First.
Thanks so much to Tracy for that report. Okay, if you're interested in winning the St. Jude Dream Home, all you have to do is go to atlantanewsfirst.com/dreamhome, and you get more information on how you can enter. And again, you can win that $675,000 brand new St. Jude Dream Home and other prizes. Just go to atlantanewsfirst.com/dreamhome for all the information on what we have available in terms of prizes and how you can enter. Thanks for joining us, and have a great day.